Hi, I'm Diane Killen.
And I'm Karen Lynn.
And we're the hosts of an exciting new show called Horse Club for Women.
In all the world, there's no one else like me. I'm still the girl who reaches for her dreams, and I believe in living, yeah.
This time on Horse Club for Women, part one of our conversation with Karen Scholl at the Rocky Mountain Horse Expo in Denver, Colorado. Karen's organization, Horsemanship for Women, has helped numerous women gain more enjoyment in horsemanship by expanding their communication skills with their horses while encouraging confidence and safety.
Karen, one of the things that you are known for is loving leadership, and I'd like to know more about that. What is that?
You know, loving leadership is something that we all demonstrate in different situations in our lives. I think probably the one most women are familiar with is with children. A lot of times women make the mistake of not having that leadership position with a child. We want to be their friends, so we think we need to be nice. I tell women, you know, kids have friends. That's not your role in their life. Your role is to give direction and guidance. And it's the same thing with the horse. The horse is looking for leadership from us. It's looking for direction and guidance. And just like with children, in absence of that, the kids and the horses, they start making the decisions.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to be rough or mean, or kind of explain that a little bit, because I think people, when you start talking about that, they get real uptight, like they have to all of a sudden be,
Go beat their horse or something.
Bring out the whips and chains and, get real heavy-handed with the horse.
Well, and a lot of times, this is one of the main differences. What I find is that men go into a physical mode. When they're trying to decide how to deal with something, they go into motion. Women need the instructions, and women need to understand the role of a leader, because leadership is not a skill that we naturally have. Women are more natural in a support role to somebody.
You don't think that women have natural...
I think that some do, but I think generally speaking, most women that come up to me and say, oh, I struggle with that, we realize it's a lack of skill on our part. So to me, loving leadership means I'm doing this for you and not to you, and not when I'm angry and mad. So what women do is, we're upset, something's not working out the way we want, and then, people ask us, well, are you okay? And we go, yes, I'm fine. Every woman knows the fine, and the man goes, she's not fine, but I don't know what to do here. And so what we do is we say, okay, we're not supposed to get upset, we're supposed to be nice, everything's okay, don't rock the boat. And then all of a sudden our emotion comes up, and then the straw that breaks the camel's back, then emotion comes up, and then aggression comes out. So what I teach women to do is to learn to be assertive, which is very different than aggression.
Give me some examples.
I'll give you an example.
How do you differentiate between assertion? Because I've seen this in many women let's face it, when we go to the supermarket and we see women whose children are running everywhere, there's not much assertion there. And then it escalates right to, get in the car, you're in big trouble.
Right. But every person around that poor mom, and most moms have been in that situation, and the kids act like this because they do something and all of a sudden mom's not acting like she would at home, and they go, ha ha ha. So this is the understanding that I think we've kind of lost. We've moved out of an agricultural society where, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I had chores. There wasn't a discussion about things. And so we don't have chores so much anymore. We have so many modern conveniences. And horses, conversely, don't have jobs. So a lot of times, I'll ask women in a clinic and people are struggling, and I'll kind of give a perspective, and I'll say, now, let me ask you a question. If you lived 100 years ago and this horse was the only horse to hitch to a wagon to get to town and get food for your family, how long would it take you to do that? Every woman sits there and says, about a half hour. That horse would be hitched to a wagon and go into the store because it had a purpose and a job. So we don't have that anymore, and so when we struggle with things, we tend to go, oh, I think I'm doing it wrong, and let's just put him away, and he's kind of fussy today, and we go into a pattern of avoidance.
How do you get women, though, at your clinics? Because you have clinics all over the country. How do you get women to do it, to connect with that part of themselves?
Bring it out of them, and what steps do you take them through to change that behavior?
Well, it's kind of like, probably in theater, you have to find the motivation. What's your motivation? And so a lot of times what happens is women misunderstand the number one thing with horses when they're kind of checking you out is, can they come into your personal space uninvited?
Okay.
That's a number one thing. Horses determine who's the leader in the herd by who does that to the other horse. So
Boundaries. You're
exactly.
talking boundaries.
Communicating
And women
boundaries.
can have
Women
a
struggle
difficult
with
time
that.
with boundaries.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So number one, here's a physical boundary. I have a personal space that this horse, uninvited, is not welcome into, even a little bit. Because horses will do this, you'll draw the line and they'll go, but how about there? And we go, well, okay, at least he's not killing me. You know,
Until he stands on your foot, because you know they're doing that on purpose.
Exactly. But it takes you a while, when you get first horses start going, they're doing that on purpose. So when you ask the question, how do I facilitate that? Because my goal is that people can go home and have the muscle memory to actually make those shifts and changes. So number one is awareness, that we're contributing to the behavioral challenges that the horse is facing. Because the horse doesn't have a problem. You turn him out in a pasture with a bunch of horses, they're not out there having those behaviors. It has to do with the interaction with us. So how I get people to take the leadership position is I role model something, again, we're familiar with and it's in our nature, is the mothering instinct.
We'll see you next time on Horse Club for Women.